I'd like to call on someone who really doesn't need no recognition quite truly in this city. Please welcome the mayor of our city, Mr. Jim Watson.
Well, thank you. You look great up there. I think we're on the set of The Dating Game from the 1970s. Thank you very much, Michael. Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to be here. I have to apologize in advance. Right after I speak, I have to go to another awards ceremony in Westboro, so I'm not going to be able to hear the presentation, the Q&A, but I just wanted to spend a moment or two congratulating you on winning the Bootstrap Awards. To thank the organizers, some of their banners are behind us, for the work that they did, the judges. A lot of effort goes into an event like this. Wesley Clover, obviously, we're very grateful for the facility and your support. As Michael mentioned, the Bootstrap Awards were founded many years ago. I remember I was at, I think, the very first one with Bruce Firestone, and they died off for a couple of years. I'm very, very glad that they're back, because it's an opportunity for us to brag a little bit and show off some great talent that we have in the city of Ottawa. This evening, we celebrate a new group of companies for their outstanding achievements, and all of the companies that we're honoring tonight are doing incredible work and helping to solidify Ottawa's reputation as a hub for entrepreneurship and technology. Now, for many years, Ottawa was often thought of as sort of a boring government town, but I'm happy to say that this misconception isn't what people think of Ottawa when they think of Ottawa now. When you think of some of the great successes over the last couple of years, we've made some significant strides. We've gone, as my colleague Guy Laflamme from Ottawa 2017 said, from Ottawa the old to Ottawa the bold. Ottawa has long been a center of entrepreneurship and technology, spawning many homegrown global leaders. And some people may ask the question, why Ottawa? And that goes back to the great work that Bruce Lazenby and Michael Tremblay have done at Invest Ottawa, where they answered that in a YouTube video, really signaling some of the great achievements that we have. And I'd encourage you, if you haven't seen that YouTube video, just type in Why Ottawa. I think it's about 3 or 4 minutes, and it is worth the read. Money Sense magazine, for instance, has named Ottawa as the best place to live in, both in 2016 and 2017. It also named Ottawa as the best place for new Canadians to come and locate. Expert Market ranked Ottawa as the #1 tech hub in which to live and work in all of Canada. And QS Best Student Cities Index, which is based on ratings from students themselves and recent graduates, ranked Ottawa as the #1 city for students. And speaking of students, we have an unsurpassed post-secondary 4 great institutions: Algonquin College, La Cité, University of Ottawa, and of course Carleton University. And these institutions, their 4 presidents sit in fact on the board of directors of Invest Ottawa, have helped our city become the most educated workforce in all of Canada. Ottawa, if you do not know, is home to more engineers, scientists, and PhDs per capita than any other city in Canada. Think about that for a minute. Second only to Boston in North America. And this talented workforce is helping to attract some of the world's best technology companies to our city. We're proud of our local homegrown companies, many of whom are represented here today. And the City of Ottawa recognizes that after government, the single largest employer is the high-tech sector. Our entrepreneurs and businesses create jobs and ensure the landscape is diverse, creating not only prosperity, but also resilience. As I mentioned before, I'm happy to say we're making progress towards making Ottawa a premier destination to live, work, and play. And I'd like things like, for instance, initiatives like Invest Ottawa, the Innovation Centre at Bayview Yards, our tourism strategy of Bid More, Win More, Host More, the Innovation Pilot Project at the City of Ottawa, are all programs and organizations aimed to roll out the red carpet and not the red tape. I'd like to acknowledge the Ottawa Network and Wesley Clover for their recognition of our local entrepreneurial talent. I want to again congratulate the recipients of the Bootstrap Award, and I thank all of you for coming out in such good numbers to support these entrepreneurs that are creating the jobs of today and tomorrow. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Your Worship. And, it truly is fortunate to have a mayor who has such a a keen sense of what entrepreneurs and the business community means to the city. Before I bring up our keynote, we often talk about, at awards like today, the up-and-comers, and many of them are positioned to my left. But I did point out in the audience, I'd break from script for a second, that there's someone from the old school here, and that's in fact Denny Doyle. Denny, give us a wave, please. As you guys know, at Ottawa Business Journal, we used to call Denny the grandfather of the high-tech sector. Absolutely. And I think it's fitting, Denny, for you to be here tonight, of course. I remember you ran for many years Capital Alliance Ventures, a labor-sponsored venture capital firm that was local in nature and very kind of cutting-edged in its days. And of course, if you've been around as long as I have, you'll remember the old school Doyle Tech maps that were on of the ecosystem. So I get some nods in the audience and people remembering those wonderful maps that were produced by Doyle Tech. So great having you here, Denny. And speaking about people, what a great segue to people who have done a lot to improve the financing scene in this city. We're really pleased to have with us tonight Code Qubit, of course, the managing director of Mistral Partners. Venture Partners. Code is someone who came to the city, if I remember correctly, sometime around 2012. And if I remember correctly in our Ottawa Business Journal stories, he said he had two things on his mission, and that was one, to spur the ecosystem in Ottawa. You did that, very good, Code. And I think secondly was to make sure you got more companies financed. And I think you can put a giant check mark behind that as well. So of course, Code has raised tens of millions of dollars since coming to Ottawa, and his investments has benefited companies, big success stories like Clipfolio. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Code Qubit.
I was hoping that Jim was going to introduce me. First I'll start by thanking Elliot from Smart Bear for asking me to speak tonight. I'm not quite sure if he understood the irony of inviting a venture capitalist to speak at an awards ceremony for Bootstrap companies.
You don't need to, Code. You're done.
So
Tonight's Code.
I'll be doing no business here later tonight. So instead, what I thought I would do is I would talk about entrepreneurism in general. I'm going to break my talk up into three little pieces. I'll share my entrepreneurial journey so far, and then I'll talk about what, in my view, what it means to be an entrepreneur. And then I'll finish with maybe some advice, 2 or 3 pointers of ideas that I've picked up over the years as both an entrepreneur and a VC. So I really started as an entrepreneur when I was very young. Before I graduated university, I had 4 different companies. I started contracting companies, I started advertising, marketing companies. I clearly had the bug. And then I made a powerful mistake. I graduated with a shiny ring and I went to work at IBM, as all good engineers will do. To my credit, I lasted 18 months before I quit. But what I learned in the process is that I'm not a big company guy. I broke a lot of things, I asked too many questions, and the status quo wasn't good for me. I left IBM, I also left Canada, and I moved to the US, where I spent the next 16 years, partly as an entrepreneur, but the majority of that time as a VC. And so while I was in the US, I started and I was an executive at 3 different venture-backed startups. One of them we sold ultimately to Medtronic, and the other 2 are going concerns today. One of them I hold out a lot of hope for, but the other one's doing well. I also participated as a VC in 30 plus companies and watched those entrepreneurs and learned from them, watched them grow, had some successes and some failures, learned from each. So as Michael mentioned, I moved back to Canada 6 years ago. In fact, Jim invited me my very first trip here in February. He gave me a book and he signed it. And he said, "Don't worry about the weather, it gets better." and then I had to convince my wife, who's American, to move to Ottawa, sunny Ottawa. I moved here to start Mistral, which is very much a startup in itself. We're 5 years old now, a little over 5 years old, but still very much an early stage company. Today we manage a little over $50 million. We've done 50 or 60 investments across 20 portfolio companies. We've had a few exits, and the rest of the portfolio is doing very well. So I'm very pleased with that. One of the things I've learned from that experience is that Silicon Valley, where I spent a number of years, does not have a monopoly on smart entrepreneurs. But what it does have a monopoly on is deep pockets. So that's something we need to work on in Canada to do a better job of. So let me shift gears here a little bit and talk about entrepreneurs the way I see entrepreneurs. Maybe we'll start with a bit of a definition. I think it's probably not appropriate to say that a business person is synonymous with an entrepreneur. Sometimes that's the case, but not always. An entrepreneur, in my mind, is an agent for change, a change agent, a visionary, somebody who sees the world differently than the rest of us. They see problems, they see opportunities, they see inequality, and they have a strong desire to fix it at any cost. And entrepreneurs are, in that way, they're a little bit insecure. They've got something to prove, they've got an itch they can't help but scratch. It's not necessarily to prove to other people, but to themselves. And it's a strong motivator, it's a strong drive, and it's a powerful one. Entrepreneurs are paranoid. They wake up every day worried. They worry about their customers, they worry about their employees, they worry about their product and their sales and their marketing. But they also wake up every day energized and refreshed and renewed with new ideas and fresh ways to attack the problems that they've encountered the day before. Entrepreneurs live somewhere on a spectrum between boredom and anxiety in a little thin band of flow, and that's where they have to be functional. But entrepreneurs are also fearless, right? Entrepreneurs don't shy away from risk. In fact, they embrace it. It gives them energy, it gives them purpose. So failure for an entrepreneur is more like feedback, right? It makes them stronger. The more you push down an entrepreneur, the more they bounce back with renewed energy and having learned from what they missed on the day before. Entrepreneurs are also heavily committed and have massive perseverance. It's really impressive. I think about one entrepreneur that I follow, a current entrepreneur, a guy named Jack Ma, who was the founder of Alibaba. So Jack, interestingly, graduates college, applies for 30 jobs, gets turned down 30 times. He's all the way down to the bottom. He applies for Kentucky Fried Chicken. 21 applicants, 20 people get a job. He's not on that list. But today, he runs one of the world's largest and most meaningful companies. We talk about resilience and perseverance. So entrepreneurs are clearly hardworking. I met an entrepreneur once who said, it seems the harder I work, the luckier I get. So that's obviously a key trait. And the last thing I'll say is that entrepreneurs are humble. Right? So they recognize their strengths, they're certainly confident in themselves, but they also recognize that you can't do it alone, and then they try to capture as much value from those around them as they can, while talking their ear off in the process. So if any of these resonate with you, maybe you're an entrepreneur, and I would say to you, welcome to the club. It's a very small club. I would argue that less than 1%, much less than 1% of the population are really entrepreneurs. And what that means is that for every entrepreneur, there's at least 99 people who have no idea what drives you. Why are you always asking questions? Why do you always want to know how it works and why it works and how to make it better and feel compelled to make a change? That's really what an entrepreneur is. So if that's you, welcome to the club. The last thing I'm going to talk about is some advice. I have 3 or 4 pointers, just lessons I've learned over the years. And I'll start with the first is a bit of a cliche. Everybody talks about successful companies being driven really by a team. And it's true. In hindsight, the team always seems to be really the rock star. But if you're just starting out and you're an entrepreneur, you are the team. So maybe you're a rock star, maybe you're not. If you are who you are. The most impressive entrepreneurs in my mind are the ones that surround themselves with mentors and advisors. And we use it as a tool in the venture capital game. We call them advisory boards. We have marketing advisory boards, technical advisory boards, advisory board, board of directors. It's just a fancy word for, hey, can you lend us a hand? And so what I would say to an early stage company is go out and find experts in the domains that you are not an expert in and take them to lunch once a month. Get their advice. You'd be amazed how much value you can extract in 1 hour of an expert's time that you can then go spend 80 hours implementing. It's a very powerful concept. The second area I'll talk about, and probably doesn't need a whole lot in this room, is the notion of raising customers instead of capital. So I see a lot of businesses who, they'll come to us with a business plan, and step 1 is raise seed financing. Step 2, build some kind of business stuff. Step 3, raise a Series A. Step 4, build some more business stuff, just bigger. But it's upside down, right? Spend your time figuring out what it is that makes you special and different and exploiting that, and then spend the rest of your time building out all the functional areas around that business. Which leads me to my next point, which is I'm going to term it the $10,000 experiment. That's what I call it. But if you're just starting, it might be a $100 experiment, maybe a $1,000 experiment. If you're later stage, it's a $100,000 experiment. And that is that companies and startup companies in general are really wrapped around the core essence of value, of utility. And it might be some insight on the market, it might be some arbitrage that you observe, it might be a new business model, it might be some IP that you found or created, or some law of physics nobody understands. And then you need to wrap a business around that. But there's a whole lot of unknowns in there. You know, who are my customers? What's their profile? What's my pricing model? What's my sales strategy? What's my go-to-market strategy? What's my financing plan? You don't know any of these things. So the best business plans, and let me detour for a second, I'll say, ideas are a dime a dozen. But really good ideas, they're trading for somewhere between 5 and 7 million USD today. So the question is, what's the difference between an idea and a really good idea? A really good idea, in my experience, is an extremely well thought through plan. So spend a significant amount of time up front thinking about all of the different functional areas within a business. What can go wrong? What can go right? What are your assumptions? What do you need to have succeed to say that you're right with that assumption? And then devise clever little experiments to test them. You know, the best example I can give you is a giant company called Google. They still test their homepage. That boring, simple page with a search bar, and I'm feeling lucky underneath it. They divert 1% of all traffic. Can you imagine how much traffic that is? They divert 1% into different landing pages. At this point, they're changing the shade of individual pixels. Kid you not, the kerning on the letters. And then there's no sacred cows. They find out, oh, this one's slightly better. It improves by 0.01%. We're going that way. So do the same thing for all functional areas. What's your pricing model? What are your competitors doing? What's your true differentiation? If you can figure all that out and experiment with small, bite-sized experiments, there's no guessing. There's no wasted money along the way. And then you're much more likely to succeed. So the last thing I'll leave you with is, if you think you're an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, please keep going. Don't give up. Being an entrepreneur, in my mind, is the most powerful, most rewarding, most satisfying way that you can spend your professional time. And it's entrepreneurs, as I said at the beginning, they're change agents. They're the ones that change the world. And if it wasn't for entrepreneurs, we'd be riding in on horses today. So keep going.
Coach, that was fantastic. Real practical advice, words to live by, and certainly underlines your great knowledge of local entrepreneurs. And I did find it was kind of funny that we had a VC talk at the Bootstrap Awards. So we will now make the transition to bootstrapping. And as we do, I just had a few thoughts to share when I was preparing for tonight. And I've had the great pleasure of being at the Ottawa Business Journal for almost 20 years now. And when I think we have the opportunity, of course, to interview a lot of new entrepreneurs, and I think we pay a lot of attention, in fact, if you look at what we're reporting on and how people access money. We know that entrepreneurs are forever interested in understanding new sources of money. And you know, Bootstrap, I think, really kind of made a big comeback in the early 2000s. Bootstrapping, of course, is really just starting a company with very little money, and it's so customary. For those of you that are entrepreneurs or know entrepreneurs, know that entrepreneurs start companies with their credit cards, with the equity they've built up in a mortgage. They liquidate their personal savings. You know, this is how they bootstrap their companies. And you know, when I think back over my time at Ottawa Business Journal, I came on board in 1999, and those were the days, of course, of big telecom. And there was no bootstrapping telecom companies. You know, they did business in the tens of millions of dollars. But you know, after the bust, it was really quite interesting. There was a new generation, and maybe companies such as Shopify would exemplify this, but a new kind of generation of software-based companies that didn't need the tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars to raise for significant capital expenditure. So they bootstrapped. And what I thought was fascinating about this, and very healthy for the community, is something that Code said, and that is they started having conversations with real customers. So instead of looking to raise an A round or something like that, they went out and they talked about real problems and real customers. And I think, in doing so, we ended up with a much more sustainable tech community. And it's interesting, the tech community, of course, would have settled on that because, of course, traditional businesses, whether they're restaurants or maybe professional services companies or whatever, have always bootstrapped, and surviving on their operating revenue is really what they've done. So I want to congratulate all of you people up here today for bootstrapping, and I think it's a really fantastic way of starting a company. That's not to say it's the only way of starting a company. There are a few downsides, when you got to pay that credit card bill, or when you're struggling to scale the company and don't have enough capital resources. But congratulations to you. Maybe another big round of applause for the companies we're recognizing tonight. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go really quickly through some awards. We're going to go bum, 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 bam, bang, bang. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time doing a Q&A with tonight's companies. And of course, I'll start off by asking some questions, but I want to make this as interactive as possible. So you people have some great questions, so start formulating some of those questions. All right, so without further ado, let's get on to our first award. And we begin with the Green Award, which recognizes companies whose technology contributions positively towards the improving environment and reduce the world's carbon footprint. This award is sponsored by Algonquin College School of Business and presented by Dave Donaldson, the Dean of the School of Business. Dave, please come forward. And let's get we don't have drums tonight. Yeah. Applaud Dave. Dave always deserves applause, and Dave and I know each other for a long time. So, ladies and gentlemen, this first award goes to, let's do the pat on your, there we go. This first award goes to Riverwood Acoustics. Oh no, I don't want to photobomb anything. Or maybe I do.
Yeah, you probably do.
Congratulations once again to Riverwood Acoustics. And of course, we'll get to know all of these companies a little bit in just a few minutes. The second award we're presenting tonight is the Award for Innovation Engineering and Technology Award, which recognizes startups whose technology applies specific and engineering expertise to solve an everyday problem. This award is presented by Elliot Simcoe from Spartan Bigger, who I invite to come up and present the new award. Let's get that drum roll going. This award goes to San Eco Tech. Woo! Congratulations again to San Ecotech. All right. I told you we're going to move quick. Here we go. The next award goes to Best Mobile Application Award, which recognizes startups whose mobile application design supports and integrates into their stakeholders' business ecosystem or business model. This award is presented by me. All right. There we go. Big applaud for me. No, I'm joking. And let's get the drum roll going. And this award goes to Go4. The more the merrier. It takes a team, right? You heard what Code said. There we go, one more. There we go. Congratulations to Go4. This next award is for Best Marketing. Oh, there we go.
Just keep hitting that.
Okay. Okay, I get it. It's some applause. It's applause meter? Oh, it's drum roll. There you go. David Perry, ladies and gentlemen. Must be an entrepreneur, always looking to solve the world's problems. This next award is for marketing or social media marketing, which recognizes a startup whose smart marketing enabled them to earn media engagement while cost-effectively acquiring customers and clients. This award was sponsored by Grade A. Here's Ted Carty, the great Ted Carty from Grade A. Yes, that's right. He deserves applause here. And I will try.
By the way, you know what that is? That's the very first Bootstrap.
I know.
It
That
smells
was.
like Bruce's foot.
That's hilarious. So we'll try this. And the award goes to Digitera Interactive.
Congratulations. Here we go.
Well, you gotta get in the picture.
What do I gotta do here? Congratulations.
Grade A in the house.
That way I look cool on the internet.
You always look cool. Congratulations again, Digitera. Moving quickly ahead, the next award is for Bootstrap Capital Award, recognizing the startup who demonstrated the best ability to bootstrap their business and capitalize their new enterprise with little or no outside funding from venture capital, angel investors, etc. This award is presented by none other than David Stein from the Ottawa Network. Please come forward. And here we go again. The award goes to Spatial DNA Informatics. That's working, David. That's working. Thank you, David. Congratulations to Spatial DNA Informatics. Next, we move on to the Community Impact Award, recognizing the startup who demonstrated how their not-for-profit organization, charity, or NGO was able to use innovative and entrepreneurial techniques to successfully fund activities to further the overall purpose of the organization. This award is sponsored by Lowe Murchison Radnoff LLP, presented by Andrew Hig. No? Oh, yes, he is. Okay. I was looking at Doug Smythe, and I'm like, wait a second. There's two guys that I know. Andrew Higdon, who I invite to come forward. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, once again. The award goes to the Kind Village. Have them stand there. Fix it, fix it. It takes a lawyer. There you go. A commitment to constant improvement. That's Doug. That's Doug. Believe it or not, we're on our final award. And this award goes to the Founder of the Year and recognizes a founder who demonstrates exceptional leadership and ability to grow their company and build their business and has shown themselves to be a leader and influencer in the business community. At this time, I'd like to invite a special guest to the stage to present the final award. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a great female entrepreneur, and we need more of them in this city on International Women's Day or Week. Please welcome Sue Abu Hakima.
Hi everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. That's good. I have a cough drop in my mouth, so I apologize. I was asked to speak a couple of words first about, I guess, women entrepreneurship in general. I won't be overly political, and then I was going to introduce our fantastic winner tonight. Certainly as a woman entrepreneur, I've been an entrepreneur now actually 18 years, which is insane. I feel anxiety all the time. Thank you for pointing that out. However, we did have a successful exit. We exited to Entrust a good 10 dozen years ago or whatever it was. And I have to say that when I went to the venture community, as a spinoff from NRC, a woman who was running her own lab, which was one of these first things, and I said, I want to do a startup on AI, and this is back in 1999, folks.
Wow.
And I was told by all the venture capitalists, nobody's going to be interested in this. And so that's pretty bad, but anyways, I got the energy and persisted and persisted and persisted. We actually raised a substantial amount of angel investment, about $4 million US at the time, but we leveraged that with a lot of government money. So SR&D, all of you that are entrepreneurs, make sure you're getting your shreds. There's programs up the yin yang right now, the Strategic Innovations Fund, BCIP, et cetera, stop me later if you want to know more about these funds. And we did manage to exit to Entrust. They said, we want to OEM your products, and we gave it to them to test, and then they said, no, we actually want to buy this part of your business, and they bought that part of the business. At the time, we had taken some debt from the government, so they didn't want to buy that. They said, we're a public corporation, none of this crap, so we had to leave that in the company. But we came back out of Entrust after the golden handcuffs were off. And then we looked around, and then unfortunately in 2007, Virginia Tech hit. And a lot of people said to us, well, this wireless to mobile stuff that you have, this content to mobile, you really should be doing broadcast technology. And that's when we started experimenting we were the first company to do integration with Wi-Fi. We are the only company that holds the patents in automatic discovery of mobile devices in public places like this, or airports, or hospitals, et cetera. We're not successful in raising venture capital, and I've been going around beating up on BDC quite a bit, for those of you that know that, to the point that their president visited us actually in the last couple of weeks, which was funny. But anyways, having said all of that stuff, when you are trying to fund your business, this one's also angel-backed, about $3.5 million, leverage with government grants as well. We are profitable. We've been profitable for 4 years. We've broken the $1 million barrier, which is awesome. Women businesses, some sad statistics for you. 98% of women's businesses never make it above $1 million. There's good reasons for that, but stop me on the networking break, we can talk about it. 8 out of 10 women get turned down by banks for funding. There are 46,000 businesses in this country that are run by women, and the Prime Minister has said he wants to double that. Well, that's not going to happen if not better things happen with respect to finance and encouragement, et cetera. I would love to see more female entrepreneurs and founders, so it brings me to the great award that I'm presenting tonight. So I'm absolutely honored to be presenting this to you. I think you're awesome. And I want to tell you a little bit about herself because, I did my diligence. I called her up and I said, I have to interview you because I have to give you this award. I don't really know very much about your company. I did go on her website, Wellbe, and I was really I thought, wow, this is so cool. So Elizabeth Odette Boudreau grew up in Montreal. She went to CEGEP in health sciences at Edouard Montpetit, if any of you know these places. She was a championship, she probably still is, ringette player. She's won national championship medals, bronze and silver in the Worlds in Prague. And she was a member of Team Canada's hockey at 15 years old, guys. It's amazing. She started her first company at the age of 17 while she was in CEGEP, in that she became a coach, or she scheduled clinics for coaching ringettes. That was her first idea, and she called it Compulsion. This company is still going today. I don't know how many years ago later that is, but it's still going today, so she still does that. She was the first draft pick for the Ringette National League. So again, I think you talked about these incredible 30,000-foot goals that entrepreneurs set for themselves. She's one of these people. She did go to so she got injured, so she had to stop playing ringette and hockey. So she went on to university, and she went to the University of Ottawa Telfer School of Business. So those of you in the house, yay. I went to McGill personally, but that's a different story. And I'm a Carleton grad too. Anyways, she did start a company at U of O, so again, her second business. She started a company while she was at U of O, while she was a student studying at Telfer to market merchandise clothing. And I think she called it Envision. Now, while she was there, this is the part of the story that's even more poignant, her grandfather got sick in 2014. and while she was at university, here at the University of Ottawa, and he lived in Chambly, and Chambly is about 2 hours away from Montreal. And so her father was driving that distance every day. They did have somebody from the CLSC or a nurse that took care of him once a week only. And so Elizabeth started thinking, well, there's got to be a way to stay on top of this. She had to constantly call family to find out what's going on. Her father did have a major stroke, and unfortunately he did pass away. Now think about it, this guy was 95 years old, God bless his soul, and he was still playing soccer. So this is the kind of genes, the genetics that she comes from. So she had the feeling that he wasn't monitored well enough. And having, lost my mom to stroke, God rest her soul, I can tell you that essentially there are many strokes, they call it petit mals, before you get the big stroke. And so in any case, she sort of was thinking about this, and she thought, well, there's got to be a way to put a Fitbit on somebody in your loved ones that's sick, and then get information shared amongst the family members. And it's actually quite a brilliant idea. It's very nice. And so she finished her degree in 2016, I believe, and she was at the Ottawa Youth Startup Weekend, and there were a few entrepreneurs there, and they were trying to think of, well, what idea do we do? And so Elizabeth suggested they do this, what later became Wellbe, this idea of the Fitbit and having it being monitored in real time, so a cloud service with an app that the family can share information with. And the 8 of them did win the competition, so bravo. And so it even gets better. She got 3 months rent-free at Invest Ottawa as a result, yay. And Wellbe started. Now I think, by the way, if anybody is here from Invest Ottawa, you should be putting money up ahead as well. So space is good, but give them some money too. These people don't eat. We didn't eat as entrepreneurs. And she then found, bless you, a co-founder, CTO at the University of Ottawa, again in engineering, and his name is Nick Petrina, and he's here somewhere. Wave, Nick, wherever you may be. There, he's way back there. And then now it's been going for 18 months, her company, Wellbe. She's won a number of startup competitions, and that's how they're bootstrapping folks. So they've raised maybe almost $250,000, right? I mean, those of us that are entrepreneurs know what the pain is to even get that. So that's awesome. Kudos to you. OCE helped also with an Age Well grant, so if OCE people are here, good on you, do more. On December 1st, they launched the app in both the Google Play and the iTunes Store, and they've already had about 2,000 downloads, and they're getting lots of feedback. So super proud of you, Elizabeth. That's awesome. They're now 7 people, so they've gone from, just Elizabeth and Nick to these 7 people, and they have somebody who heads marketing, comms, social media. They have a designer. They even have a data scientist, and of course they have a software engineer. And her main goal, like when I said to her, well, what is your aim in life? Like, what are you trying to do here, right? And it was interesting because she said, my aim is to save lives and to help families, right? And it's ironic for me because our motto is save lives. Any device, any network. So I'm so proud to present you with the Female Founder Award. Hopefully, just founder, excuse me. That's not a sexist award either, which is awesome. With the Founder Award of the Year for Bootstrap. Come on up.
Sue, great job. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up again for Sue. Breaking through those glass ceilings, Sue. You've been doing that for a long time, and it's wonderful for you to hand that award to Elizabeth.
I mean, the good thing is we brought 19 million into the local economy. So
That's
don't
fantastic.
feel bad for us.
Yeah. You're doing great. Again, thanks once again. So we handed out the hardware. Here comes the fun part. where we actually get to know some of today's companies. So here's what we're going to do. We've got a lot of you on the stage. We'll start here. Sorry, Elizabeth. You just had your moment in the spotlight. You'll have to wait a few more minutes. We'll start here, and what I'd ask you to do is kind of give us your elevator pitch. So try to keep it kind of really succinct to explain what you've done. I'll introduce you, sir, in just a second here. And also, if pertinent, tell me about the role that bootstrapping may have played in the creation or ongoing operation of your company. So first off, ladies and gentlemen, we have Ben Seaman, and Ben is the CEO of Riverwood Acoustics, a really cool company. I want you to hear about them right now.
Thanks. So we have created a truly unique product. It's a home wireless speaker that is made from 100% reclaimed riverwood from the Ottawa River. What's unique about this wood is that it traveled down the Ottawa River in the 1800s logging drive. During its voyage, many of the logs sunk to the bottom of the river, and our eco-divers at logs bring them up, process them, and turn them into a beautiful one-of-a-kind speaker. Yeah, sorry about that.
And bootstrapping.
So bootstrapping to us is we've done 100% bootstrapping internally. What it means to me is problem solver. You essentially wear every single hat possible, from IT person to engineer to marketing and sales to law for trademarking and IP, stuff like that. It's just a constant roller coaster ride, but it's worth the adventure. Thanks.
Thanks. And once again, Ben was the winner of the Green Award, again for River Acoustics. Congratulations. That's a great product. And can we buy it in retail stores? How do we purchase this thing?
So we're running our first production run right now. It's available on our website. We're going to be actually taking purchase orders in the next end of the month. 10 are already pre-sold. And we've done our acoustic prototypes. We've done media coverage. We've had some even Dragon's Den people reach out to us, and Bruce Coxon from Dragon's Den has it and loves it. So we're starting to really feel that snowball effect.
Congratulations again, Ben. Next up, we have Els van Bekkevort, and Els is the CEO and founder of San Ecotech. So, Els, give us a little elevator pitch for San Eco, and also talk to us a little bit about bootstrapping.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. San Ecotech, well, I am a co-founder, actually, and I have to call it out, but we started a number of years ago with a vision that healthy water can change the world. And so our award tonight specifically speaks to a sustainable water treatment system and method that we have developed, that we have IP around, and that basically aims to put water back better than we find it. So that's the goal, that's the purpose. And I am very privileged to now be surrounded by a team of wonderful people. I've heard some really great speeches here tonight, and I can certainly agree with many things that have been suggested, because we now are 17 people in our company. I am surrounded with some of the most, I think the best engineers and scientists and PhDs, people that really care about the vision that we have. So from our perspective, it started out with two people, myself and my co-founder Jim Schulat, and we put a lot of sweat equity, all our savings and everything that we were just into this vision. And we had early on another partner, so to speak, that shared our vision, and he put some of his money where his mouth was too. So between the three of us, we have used some of that to also get some government grants, but they've been hard work, let's put it that way, to get, and they haven't exactly been very large yet. Having said that, we welcome that. That's been great. That's been helpful for us. But certainly, we've had to go to the pilot stage and prove what we could do, and we have won a few other awards in being able to show that we can do water treatment, save energy, save the planet, get a better end product, and actually, contribute to the health and well-being of of water and all of society in that sense. So we love what we do still. Thank you.
Just to take that, so I'm getting the fact that it's about water treatment and that. Is this like a municipal treatment or is it a commercial application? What market are you pursuing?
Well, we've done 3 municipal systems. So we finished our 3 towns. They were all pilots and they were necessary for regulators to be able to say, okay, this actually works. 1 in Ontario, 2 in Newfoundland, and I'm very thankful to say that they worked extremely well. They did what they were supposed to do, but we also we're working in a number of different sections now as we're actually scaling and starting to now develop this into other areas. So also at small systems, small commercial, small regulated sites, municipal drinking water, food processing, we're moving into an agriculture and seeing that we can really add value and contribute to healthy water there actually also leads to greater productivity and making significant changes into those spaces. Reducing pesticides, reducing some of the chemicals that are typically used in water treatment processes. So it's now starting to move into other areas as well.
It's great to know that you're finding that success in the trial treatments and continued success. Next up, we have the best mobile application, Go For. Sounds like a Kim Mitchell song. Go for so da 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 and nobody da. No? Yeah, maybe? Okay. So this is Brad Rollo, as I said, the CEO and co-founder of Go For. So again, tell us about your app and what role did bootstrapping play in achieving this level of success?
Okay. I guess the best way to describe it is that we're an on-demand delivery service for construction materials. So I hate to say this, but we're kind of Uber Eats for construction. It hurts me to say that. Okay. But it's the best way to describe it. Exactly. The best way to describe it. Everybody get it right away. What happened is I spent the last 10 years running a construction company. And in that, my daily pain was running out of small, medium-sized order materials on the job site. Because you never know how your guys are going to use it, your materials. And like, hey, I was a scaffold down, that was supposed to be a wall, that sort of thing. So I spent all my time in construction running around as Go For. And so as you can see where the name came from.
Not a sort.
Exactly. Okay. So we found a huge need in this because construction over the last 30 years has not had any increase in productivity. And so it's been stagnant. So mixed with my pains, productivity issues, we came up with Go For. We are launched now in Ottawa, Edmonton, and just launched in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're kind of looking for that global expansion right now, North American expansion.
And bootstrapping?
Bootstrapping, well, teaches us many a thing. Makes you wear a lot of hats, as he says. Yeah. For us, it makes us look at how do we get traction differently, right? So going after contractors is a marketing issue, and marketing costs money. So then we have to look at how do we get penetration into this market and build up our revenues, that sort of thing. So we quickly learned that we could go to suppliers and say, well, your contractors need this on-demand delivery. They need it in 1 hour, really. You can't do it because you don't have fleets, you don't have enough fleets, enough vehicles, stuff like that. It costs you too much to run a vehicle anyways. And they instantly went, yeah, you're right. And so we saw a huge uptick in suppliers coming on board. So much so that we're talking to, if we had all the money in the world, and all the VCs in the room, we could be in every city in North there pretty much now. So I put minutes to look at the issue a different way. Yeah. And then, just finding creative ways to do things. So how do we go to a new city? How do we expand to a new city with no cost, right? If Uber goes to a new city, spends $1 million to be there. We go into a new city, and we instantly have customers, and we can scale it very quickly and almost break even in the first month or 2.
Maybe your folks had a $7 million deal. So this is interesting. So how have you approached the Home Depots of this world, the Ronas? You have a look in your face like you don't want to tell me the answer.
Because we're raising money, I better tell you. Yeah, we're in conversations with, say, Lowe's USA, Home Depot Canada. We're running pilots for both those companies. We're working with binders, so most suppliers in Canada at least are represented by a buying group. So we're working with a group called the Sexton Group. Has 300 members, 400 locations across the country. So we've got some big names, and my pitch deck's got a lot of nice logos in it.
And because Smart and Bigger is a key sponsor here, it just occurred to me, so I'm getting the app, what sort of intellectual property do you have around that app? It would be a little bit scary to have a conversation with Lowe's or some of the big providers that they're going to say, that's a fantastic idea, great, we're going to do it ourselves.
Very good question. And I'm not the expert at this. Yeah. We have identified a few areas where we feel we have intellectual property or a process that we can patent type thing. Some of it comes that we're still to build, kind of the intelligence behind the system, how you route trucks and how you assign drivers and stuff like that. So we're actually building an IP strategy, I would say.
Elliot, that's for you. All right, so next we have Jordan St. Jacques. He's the CEO and founder of Digiterra. So you get the gig right now, so you're going to tell us a little bit about them, a bit about Bootstrap.
Well, the reason that, oh, by the way, before I begin, I just wanted to thank all the stakeholders tonight and putting on a fantastic event. My personal belief, having spent a number of years traveling up and down the east coast of the USA and then returning to Ottawa later, is that Ottawa needs to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more self-promoting, hence marketing. And events like this actually serve that purpose, to draw recognition to talents like, for example, my colleagues here on the stage tonight. So please, all the stakeholders, keep putting on the work to put these events together, keep on sponsoring them, write a check once in a while, that kind of stuff. Anyways, my award isn't quite as accomplished as the rest on the stage. When you think about it, there's a lot of digital marketers out there, and if you look at LinkedIn, everybody's a digital marketing expert. My eyes are rolling right now, trust me. The reason why I'm up here tonight is because I've been doing a lot of research lately in the last 6 months. It's something called hashtag sentiment analysis. Presented about this topic with a new tool of mine at the Tom event at UITV recently. And essentially, with respect to hashtag sentiment analysis, you can qualify people's likelihood to purchase goods or services based on their own usage of hashtags on social media. Now, that's the theory. Let me give you an example of what that looks like. A woman gets asked to get married by her groom-to-be, and she's obviously happy. It's one of the most important days of her life. So within 72 hours, it's obviously easy to understand that she will go on social media and she will post with the hashtag engaged. That's a simple empirical example to understand it. This has actually been proven by the big bridal magazines. 95% of brides will post on social media with the hashtag engaged within 72 hours of actually getting engaged. So when you think about that, it's great for brides and wonderful that they're happy for themselves and their new family and all that kind of stuff. But when you think about that, every wedding vendor in the world wants that data, because the biggest marketing channel that wedding vendors have available to them currently is the bridal shows. And by the time the bride gets to the bridal show with her mother or the sisters and the cousins and this and that, she's already got her shopping list half done. So there's not really a lot of opportunity to reach her, but when she's still formulating her strategy for all the different kinds of goods and services that she's going to have to obtain for her wedding. So we put together a tool that actually allows the smart marketer, the advanced marketer, if you will, because this is not for children, the ability to actually reach out to people on social once that person uses a hashtag that triggers the behavior that we're looking for. So under my empirical example, somebody posting with the hashtag engaged, our system would find them within 15 minutes and execute a predefined action that is likely to draw that bride's attention to your brand profile. So you could like their profile or follow their or like the post, follow their profile, or even make an auto comment saying, "Hey, congratulations on getting engaged. Have you considered us for your photography gig?" Right? So anyway, I won't bore you with all the other examples because I'm going to take all of Michael's time. He's going to get mad at me. And but that's just one case study of what hashtag sentiment analysis can do, for a particular industry. And I should tell you before I hand the mic back that it can work for any of your industries. And I have a lot of business cards in my pocket tonight. So I'll see you all later.
Great. So, you guys newly engaged females post within 72 hours. What do males post within 72 hours? They don't. So no hashtag?
Hashtag ball and chain. I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's not what I was going to do. Yeah, bootstrapping, maybe. Yeah. Bootstrap the wedding. That's it, right? Bootstrap the wedding, sure. So next up is our Bootstrap Capital Award. Todd Lewis. Todd Lewis happens to be my dentist for 20 years. No, you're the different Todd Lewis. Yeah. Do you know the other Todd Lewis? Okay.
There's 3 or 4.
Okay. Well, my dentist has been Todd Lewis for 20 years, so I thought you were him. But apparently that's not the case. So again, Todd Lewis, who is the CEO and founder of Spatial DNA Informatics. Tell us about your company and Bootstrap.
All right, so we started 7 years ago as a professional services firm. So that's not a dentist. So we integrate geographic information systems into other enterprise platforms, be that customer relationship management, ERP, or work and asset management systems. So that's been the core business for the last 7 years, and that's how we managed to bootstrap and grow. 3 years ago, we started an investment in IoT space. And have built out a platform. We've since rebuilt it in the last 3.5 months to track the movement of people and things in indoor spaces. So GPS works very well outdoors. We've seen the growth of the GPS market into the multi-billions in the last 20 years. As soon as you walk indoors, for most of you, GPS stops working. Right? So we built an analytics platform that allows people that own venues to be able to locate and track people and things that are moving about inside those venues, and to be able to identify in retail, customer journey, in manufacturing, flow of goods through a facility, and in workplaces in our commercial environments. Understand how people are utilizing space and understanding how teams are interacting with each other. So that's what we're working on.
Very cool. And any customers or trials yet, Todd? I mean, obviously you're into year 7, I think you said, so.
Yeah, so we've got, we actually started off, believe it or not, in aviation. Working with aeronautical information. We still have clients around the world that we're working with in that space. And working with some obscure 1970s formatted information and getting it into modern information systems. But we do have clients on our People Flow platform. We started off largely with business improvement areas in the Toronto area, and we've got as sort of a large name brand client that we're close to signing now with several thousand buildings around the world. Yeah.
Congratulations. Great. And next up, and by the way, we'll go to you for questions in just about 2 minutes, so please prepare your questions. We'll circulate around the room. We just finished an interesting event at OBJ the Chamber on social enterprises. So, everyone thinks innovation is happening within tech. That's absolutely not the case. There's a lot of people in the social realm that are dealing with lots of innovation. So we've got Tanya Woods, the founder and CEO of something called Kind Village, and I'm really interested to hear about it.
Thank you. I've had 5 people that have started and still want to be sick. You can tell me in public, but that's okay. So I just want to do an experiment for a minute, so humor me, because everything I do is an experiment. I have a great crowd. So I need you to be honest. That's the only thing I need you to promise me. So yes, you be really honest, brutally honest. Because I'm going to ask you for something right now. So I actually want you all to think of your wallets. Give me $100 and commit to doing it for the next 12 months. Okay? So I'd like you to do it. Now let's pretend you did it for the sake of time. Put up your hand if you would have done it. You would have given me $100 and you would have committed giving me the $100, like I will come after you at the end of this for the next 12 months. Put every minute if you would do it. You know something. I'm gonna make it. I love this. I'm gonna make a difference.
You're going to make a difference in the world.
To the cause that I represent. We're going to make that, so we're going to call it Help Animals and Families Charity. I think we're driving at the point though, right? Right? And that's the point. And it's not to say that it's a bad thing, it's the status quo. I remember I started my first job, and the first thing they asked me, my very first day, was if I'd be willing to commit money from my paycheck to whatever group it was, but I didn't have full say, I didn't have any information, I had to sign the paperwork. I was a charity. I had like 4 degrees of debt. So there was no way I could say yes in good conscience, but I felt awful. I felt so guilty. And I thought, but what about me as a person? Like, what about everything else I have? I mean, you can use my time. I will show up and do whatever it is. You can use my brain. I have 3 law degrees. I'm glad to help you. You can have anything else that I can give you, but I don't have money and I'm not comfortable giving it. I don't know enough about you. We just met. And yet that's our dating experience today. So I start from the position that I actually believe we have everything in the world we need to solve our greatest problems. We just totally sucked at resource identification and allocation because we've become myopic in our views. And so that's how we got to work. So I have founded a pro bono legal clinic because I had knowledge to give and no one would give me something to do. And that was 8 years ago and it's still going. And I kept going. I founded a thing called Girlforce, which is game developers teaching girls how to code for free, all pro bono. And then I founded Coin Village because I thought, you know what, this is ridiculous. Half, in fact, more than half of the giving that's done by businesses and corporations around the world is in kind, and we don't even count it. And I thought that's ridiculous. So we're committed to building the world's most powerful giving platform, and we use our own model to do it, to actually test out if it's possible. So bootstrapping for us has been our mark of success. We've probably met many of you here. I recognize a lot of you. You've given me your time, Sue. We met very early days, and you gave me your advice, right? And there's many lawyers who have also helped us out, and people have helped us out with media. In fact, OBJ covered some cool stuff we've been doing for 2 years, and we've been able to help thousands of charities. We have a presence supporting charities with in-kind donations, support, and connections, as well as clarifying what exactly they do with money in Canada, in the US, in Europe, and in Africa right now. And we've never raised a penny, and we've actually operated for 5 years on less than $40,000. And everything we've done has been in kind. So our whole team is here. Well, for the most part, I should say whole, because ones are we hate that. But they're the proof. We've got some of the brightest data scientists, social media intelligence people, incredible business people who cut their teeth, great financial people, all have helped us build business entirely, giving of their time. They didn't ask me for a contract. They said this is our volunteer thing because we'll be able to exponentially scale our efforts to help charities. So that's what we've been doing. The platform feels like Spotify. It's fun. It's super easy, and guess what? It's tailored to you. It's got nothing to do with them and them and them. It's just personal. So it's personalized, it's gamified, it's simple. It tracks all of the cool stuff you do, like Fitbit, and it counts for it at the end of the year if you promise to use it. And you can be a business, you can be a charity, or you can just be you, and it will do cool things for you. So that's what we've done with like pretty much no money and a lot of other kinds of support.
Not to get too deep into it, but is it a website, is it an app? Like, how do I link up, or is it a concept?
No, it's a real thing. We launched it on TechTuesday last year, and it's an actual platform, and so it's a web-based platform. It's not a mobile app. Someone's calling
It's the drum roll.
So it's a platform. It's powered by some of the most cutting-edge technologies. So we use AI, we use deep data intelligence, we do sentiment analysis, we're incorporating blockchain. There's a reason for everything. It's not because they're hot button topics. It's because we serve a purpose, and we've been recognized as one of the leading platforms in what we're doing by President Obama and his foundation. We've been Tech Women recognized by the Government of Canada. We're a PCIP person, South African. We've got really lots of conversations. People are really trying to figure out what the future looks like when we run out of money, basically.
Thank you very much, and continued success again. Yeah, another round of applause. Elizabeth from Welby. So we've heard a little bit about Welby, but give us your elevator pitch still, and tell us about the Bootstrap experience.
I'll be short because you've already heard a little bit. Thank you, Sue, for the awesome presentation. So pretty much at Wellview, what we do is we use artificial intelligence to help you take care of your loved one. So pretty much we establish what are their health condition and their normal habits through two main ways. So the first way is through using wearable technologies like Fitbit, Garmin, anything you can find at the store. Pretty much we can extract the data from that, establish what are their habits. And then the second one is by interacting with the user. So we are actually asking them how they're doing, if they would like to participate in that activity, how did they appreciate it, and then we can really track how they're interacting with Wellbe. And those two main things actually help us establish how they're doing, and then whenever we detect that there's any change, we're going to let the family and their caregivers know so that they can take action on time and make sure that the issues are taken care of at the right moment so that it doesn't get worse. And then in terms of bootstrapping, I'd say the big thing that has been great for us is all these pitch competitions that we've won. This is where we've really got a lot of money in, and that helped us get the 7 employees that we have today. And then obviously a lot of ramen noodles. And Nick is the chief ramen noodle there. But yeah, I think the biggest thing behind bootstrapping your company is definitely having the ambition and having that passion that is always in your mind, because you know why you're doing it and why you wake up every morning and why you need to eat that other soup. But yeah, when you know you're going to have an impact, it really pushes you to push your limits.
Genuine spot for that. It's interesting. Ramen, today's ramen noodles, yesterday craft dinner. It's a whole new generation, ladies and gentlemen. Whole new generation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to wrap things up.
Once again, I want to really pay thanks to the great people who lined up to make this possible. Once again, to our sponsors, Algonquin College, the School of Business, Grade A, Lowell Murchison, Radnoff, and of course the people that did the heavy lifting here tonight, the Ottawa Network for rekindling this great awards program, Spartan Big for stepping up and really kind of making it possible, and of course our host for tonight, Tech Tuesday, and the wonderful work that the Wesley Clover Foundation continues to do in the city. A giant round of applause. And with that, good night.